Well, I'll tell you who's not fired up, Shane. And that's old Dennis Dodd of old CBS Sports. I don't like to call people out, on this podcast if I don't have
to. Bruno, he's not here. Hey, chill, buddy.
He's right. Hey, your dog's right there with me, Shane, because, again, we don't single people out that often on this show. And but I just thought this was kind of a ridiculous thing to put out there. If you go over to, we'll put a link down there, CBS Sports, they did an article, things to look forward to all across the country with spring practice coming up. And basically the only one that was critical was on Tennessee, Shane. And here's a little snippet of what they had to say, which I thought was pretty interesting. He's calling out Nico and the $8 million NIL deal that Tennessee gave him. He mentions there's a quarterback competition, which that's not even true. I mean, it's Joe Milton's job. Nico is not going to unseat Joe Milton, not right out the gate. But here's the interesting part here, Shane. How Nico lives up to the contract mixed with a new offensive coordinator. You won't believe this. Actually, you will. There are already whispers that Nico is not worth the $8 million. Tennessee is covered as closely as the White House. And that's how he ends it. So, again, he's suggesting that the elite 5-star quarterback that everybody's fired up about is not worth the money. And, he may be right at the end of the day, Shane. I mean, that's a ton of money to give somebody. And it's very hard to live up to all the hype for not just for him, but any quarterback. I mean, how many 5-star quarterbacks have come into the SEC, Shane, and not lived up to the billing? It's about 50% of them. So, it's almost like throwing a dart and hoping you're right. But the only reason I'm calling attention to this is because, Shane, spring practice is about a week and a half away there on Rocky Top. You can't be judging a guy before he's already had his first spring practice. And from what I understand, he's been solid down there for the Orange Bowl. He was running the scout team. It's I don't know. I just think this is a wild statement to be thrown out there for a true freshman. And I think what this really says to me, Shane, I don't know. I'm curious to get your thoughts. But I think this is Dennis Dodd saying, I don't like NIL. I hate that this kid's getting paid. This is bullshit. He's not going to live up to it. It seems like he's angry more about the deal than it is the player. What's your thoughts?
Well, Mike, I think it's the worst article ever written in college football history. Now, I've not read the article. I'm going to do that 2 weeks from now. But I'm going to take a stab at this and say that this opinion is the worst one that you'll ever get, Mike. I think this is a hit piece, Mike. Tennessee is an easy target. We love online. It's clickbait is what it is. And you throw out words like this, it's going to generate some interaction online, which is ultimately what you're going after here. Because there's no way in your right mind that you're hearing whispers. Legit, let's hear the sources, as Lane Kiffin likes to say. Who are you talking to that is saying that this is a bad bet? You know what I'm saying? Right. I think this is, like I don't want to, I've never met the man, and he may have meant well, and this may have been more of a general statement about the NIL, like you said, but to come out and say a kid's not going to be living up to the hype or living up to this money that he's earned, through his time in high school, I think that's just a bold statement, and I don't want to give it more attention than it deserves. Now, we go 2 years into this program, 3 years, and we're still in a quarterback controversy in Knoxville. Then maybe we can revisit this and say that it was that he was on to something. But again, you're just throwing a dart in the dark, or you're throwing. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Did I just make up a new saying? You're throwing a dart in the dark here. So you don't know if you're going to hit, but I'm not willing to give him I'm always optimistic, even if it's not my Tennessee Volunteers. It's another kid that's coming in. We're all different when we're 18. We're all different 19. 2021, this kid's going to get molded. He's going to be an athlete, and I guarantee he'll be a Division I player. Now, he may not be a Heisman winner, but I'm not willing to say that in 2023.
Right. And the only thing I'll add, and this is not even fair to even suggest, Shane, because again, they've not even hit the field for spring practice. But I think A&M did teach a lot of people last season that, you're walking a fine line here because
Right.
clearly there was issues there in College Station, and it led to a very, very disappointing season. Again, I'm not suggesting that that is happening at Tennessee or it will happen, but it is something to monitor. And again, we can't really judge this till 2 or 3 years down the road, like you said. You know what?
Yeah, yeah, and the NIL, we knew this. This is going to be a growing experience. There's going to be growing pains that come along with it, and there's not a simple recipe for how this should run, and I think they're all trying to figure it out. Money will figure its way out. These kids that are getting these large contracts, you're not going to see that if you're not getting the production on the back end. It's going to go away. So it will adjust accordingly, but it may be ready. It may go the opposite way. There may be kids landing multi, 20, $30 million contracts. And don't be surprised if that happens, because look at Georgia, look at LSU. When these teams are producing, the revenue comes in. They make their money back. So,
Right.
yeah, it's just it's I don't know. It's uncharted territory, and it is ugly, but it is a part of college football, and it will be for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, no doubt.